Hey, it's Amethyst Virgo. This video is as titled, I'm going to focus on the energy of sacrifice and break that down a little bit, especially when we talk about 12 house themes, 12 house Neptunian themes, Pisces themes, whatever the case may be. I first want to start this off by saying that I actually recorded this video topic in August, but I didn't publish it. Something about the video, I just didn't feel like the recording was me saying the things I needed to say. And I feel like now is the best time for me to rework this topic. What's interesting is that I had it in my mind to redo this video, and then I was on TikTok and I randomly on my feed was a story from a designer, and I don't follow him, so it just came up randomly. And the designer, his name is Brandon Blackwood, and the story was, I'm not going to go into detail, but it was basically about how, he has a brand. He has big bags, I think some clothing, some outerwear is also that he sells. But the story was about how his whole brand came about one night when he didn't have enough money to go out with his friends, and he knew he couldn't spend the money, so he stayed in all weekend, was pretty bored, and then decided he was going to make a backpack. And he made the backpack, and he said like he was on a payment plan because he didn't have a lot of money at the time. And then over time, people who were influential noticed backpack, like the style, and from there his brand launched. And I thought that was so fitting to this theme. And I think that's what he was also getting at as well in his video, was just around this idea of like, sometimes the things that you think you are losing out on are actually what you gain. And that's what this video is about. And so when I jump into this concept of sacrifice, I'm not talking about, cultures that sacrificed people or anything like that. I'm talking about when you have to hold off on something, when you have to give something up, when you have to, you can't go for instant gratification, when you have to do something you really don't want to do, and how that sometimes leads to the best outcome later on. And I think the sign that is most aligned to this is Pisces, because Pisces energy from that spiritual level is, and again, I'm not talking specifically just about every Pisces person, but Pisces energy is about going with the flow when you feel is the right time, divine timing. All of that is very Neptunian, and it is very 12th house like in nature. It is really when you are embarking on the right moment. And sometimes we can get frustrated in life with this type of energy because we want what we want now, especially in today's lifestyle. Everything is instant. Social media is instant. Journalism is instant. Everybody wants to be the first one to have something, the first one with the story, the first one, right? Everybody wants to be the first one cracking a joke when something happens. Everybody wants to be the first one with their opinion out there, right? But people don't know how to pause anymore. And I think with the sacrifice, what also stands out to me is where we are currently at. We are in Saturn in Pisces. Okay. What greater time than to learn sacrifice? Actually, in the astrology deck that I have, Saturn in Pisces is depicted on one of the cards, and it says sacrifice. Saturn energy is harsh. It brings challenges. It matures us. It may bring some struggles because Saturn wants us to just grow up, right? Grow up. That's what Saturn wants us to do. Pisces energy is more whimsical. It is more inspirational. It is more artistic. It is more intrinsically motivated type of energy. We know it can also deal with pity, sadness, right? Healing. So Saturn and Pisces is the greatest time for people to heal. And wherever Saturn and Pisces is in your chart, that's a great time for you to grow up, but also in a way, be kind to yourself in your journey, because the sacrifices that you're making now are going to help you later. And we know that Saturn is karmic energy. And so a lot of times we don't want to sacrifice, and that is why we end up where we are in life. We want a great life. We want this. We want to have a better life than we grew up in. We want to have more money, we want to have more influence. We want to just live a better life. But a lot of times we allow ourselves to be distracted by the day to day. And we allow ourselves to go wherever people lead us to go. And so sometimes I'm not telling people to be antisocial. I'm not telling you to be an introvert. But sometimes you don't sacrifice, and I don't sacrifice enough, or, some of us have not sacrificed enough in some area of our lives. I actually think that to do the work that I do in the spiritual capacity and also the work that I do outside of spiritual work, I actually have had to sacrifice. That for every accomplishment that I have was me not doing something that I could have been doing, right? It takes time. It takes telling people, no, I can't go with you. No, I can't go hang out. No, I can't. I have to do some readings. No, I have to, I need some alone time to process life, right? No, I can't do that for you. I have to do this. Like everything that is great in life requires sacrifice. But a lot of times people don't want to do it. But if you continuously put off the things that you have to learn and the things that you have to do in order to get to where you want to get to, you're going to end up feeling empty handed. And that's because we all have a purpose and we all have it's for those of you in touch with your spiritual side, you have a purpose and you have a spiritual side that is trying to lead you to the things you're supposed to be doing. And when we don't feel aligned, we can have all the friends in the world. We can have a million invites. People could want us going places. And I'm not saying don't do that. Have fun with your friends, have fun with your family, go on a date, whatever it is you need to do. But I think at the end of the day as well, we are living in a society where we feel we're going to miss out. If I don't go, I'm going to miss out. If I don't do this, I'm going to miss out. It also leads to people being very overly saturated, overly stimulated. Because in today's social media world, which is shaping our brains and shaping the brains of the youth, people want instant gratification. A lot of people are not comfortable with processing their own feelings. People are not comfortable saying, no, I can't go out with you. I need to go practice. No, I can't do that. I need to go better myself. And so when you keep saying yes to everything, right? Everything that you want, you say, yes, yes, more, 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 give me more. You're missing out on the journey of sacrifice because sometimes the saying no to something could actually be the best for you later on. And drawing it back to Pisces and Saturn energy, that is about waiting. That is about time and not rushing through things. How many times have you done something and at the time you thought you weren't making the right decision? It was a hard decision you made, but you had to do it. And then 5 months later, or a year later, or 5 years later, it all makes sense why you did that. That is some of the lessons we're learning. But because we want to see even people who are in the spiritual world, sometimes when we manifest things, we think we want it when we want it. But sometimes spirit is like, you're not ready. You're not going to get that yet. And sometimes for manifestation, we'll see small doses, right? Right? But it won't be the thing you want. But maybe you weren't ready yet. And so that's the thing we have to understand about sacrifice. It requires a level of maturity and patience that a lot of people don't have. But if we let something grow to its fullest maturity, it's going to be the best that it can be, right? Sometimes. And so I'm not saying for us not to be adventurous, not to live life, not to have fun, not to sometimes do those things that you enjoy. But I do want to center us again on the fact that you sometimes get a feeling that you need to wait on something, that you don't need to make a decision right away, or someone's trying to get you to go somewhere and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. Right? Understand that there is sometimes a reason behind those things. And that feeling of emptiness that so many people have is sometimes you are adhering to what everybody else in your life wants you to be. You're doing everything they want you to do. You're doing everything at your job. You're doing everything for your partner. You're doing everything for your kids. You're doing everything for your friends, family, whoever you have in your life. And that's not enough. Why? Why, right? Because you are doing everything they want you to do. Because you think you're going to miss out. If you say no to that person, you're going to miss out. But really, it's you need to invest in yourself. And part of investing in yourself requires you to know where your boundaries are. And that sometimes the thing that you are sacrificing in the moment, what you're going to get later is greater than that. Right? It's greater than that. People who want to say yes to every date, right? But really, if you slow down and you stopped and you understood yourself first, maybe down the road you can meet someone who's actually good for you, right? People who are hopping from job to job to job to job because it's paying a lot of money. But if you just stop and pause and realize what your talents really are, you could be more aligned. For people who have a great talent, but you haven't practiced it in years. Why? Because you're going out every weekend. Every time your friend has something, you're there. So you don't have time to practice your hobby. How many of you have time to practice your talent? How many? If you are the type of person who decides you want to go to every event, where do you have time to practice your talent? If you are working, most people are working 5 days a week, right? Most people, some people more than 5 days a week. You're working all week. You come home, usually you're tired, usually you're cooking dinner or ordering dinner or whatever, and then you have to get up and do it all over again, right? And then the weekend, your family has an event, there's a baby shower, this person has a birthday party, this person has a bridal shower, this person wants to go to brunch. So a lot of you, your weekends are filled up, right? When do you have time to practice the things that are unique to you? When do you have time to say, no, I can't go out? No, I can't do that. If you find yourself saying yes to everybody, you're actually saying no to yourself. And so that's, don't want this to be too long of a tangent, but I do think some people need to hear this importance here of like the things that to be the greatest version of yourself, it does require you to sacrifice some of the worldly things that people want you to get involved in. And when you're all up in the mix and you're saying yes to everybody, you're missing out on the things that you need to do for yourself. And those things for yourself don't mean they can't include other people. I'm not saying it's about staying in a dark room all weekend every weekend, but it is about learning yourself, learning what your needs are, and understanding that part of greatness does require some level of personal sacrifice for you to really tune into the things you're really here to do.